Guys, Christian Bet here. The reason why I haven't uploaded for a very long time, I'm not using Facecam this time, so I'm gonna have a break from that. The reason why I didn't post a lot, I was just under pressure by, I don't know, don't want to upload an app, but I'm gonna try to. But, this video right here, this is 5 things Arkham Knight did wrong. So if you don't know, this is a guy named Degenerate J. He's like name gotta be on top of the title, so click on @Degenerate J, and then you get granted or his YouTube channel. He's at recording this right now. He's live. I've watched him for a bit, and that's it. I watch his videos. I like his opinion. He's my favorite Arkham channel because I like his opinion. I understand he wants to do other stuff, but while I'm recording this, I'm recording this right now. Yesterday for Australian time, it was Batman Arkham Knight Day yesterday. It was the 10th year anniversary. Wow, just fucking wow. Have not been good recently, so, but yeah, it just 10 years since, look, I'm just gonna say it, but I mean 10 years of not having a just a regular Batman Arkham game, but said we got just Suicide Squad, and that was awful. I did play it, big waste of my money, but I got all my money back. I went to here in Australia called EB Games. It's like game stuff for use over there, but I give you a better price and give you much money back here. So sorry for the GameStop suckers out there, but yeah, that was just a failure. I liked the beginning, but as soon as they add more season, content, that's where I wanted to do mods, but it turned out there wasn't that many, so I'm like, okay, there's no point of me playing this. So, yeah. So without further ado, let's get in and see what he gotta say.
So unlike the last top 5 video of the top 5 things that Arkham Knight did right, we are going to be taking a look at the top 5 things Arkham Knight did wrong, in my opinion. And I'm sitting back today, so I'm not eating the microphone or breathing heavily like Darth Vader. I'm hoping you enjoy this list, and I want to remind you that I actually love all of the main Arkham games, including Origins, for different reasons.
Yeah, the problem is, people just don't like Arkham Origin. That's the problem. They just don't like it. And for me, I'm like, Arkham Origin is not bad. It's a good game. It's so mine would be Arkham City number 1, Arkham Origin second. I would say Asylum would be third. It's a good way to start off this thing. Arkham Knight is last. It's not a bad game. It was just the weakest one in the series. It's better graphic, better things, but the story, some of the side mission, I might do a video of cut content, but I don't know. But let's see if that will happen or not. But let's just see. But let's get in again. Sorry, but like I said, there's not a single bad Arkham game. Like he said, well, except for Suicide Squad, I agree. But this is at the time. Let me check. This was 5 years ago. So this was before Suicide Squad. But yeah, but Suicide Squad is lost for me, so fuck you.
Might be in the minority. That's okay. That's kind of where I'm coming from. And with these lists, I just kind of want to take a look at 5 things each one did right and each one did wrong, at least in my opinion. And I'm at least operating in safe waters for now until I get to Asylum and City, where when I make my wrong lists, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be intercepted on my way to work someday and just T-boned and murdered by a disgruntled Arkham fan. But we're not there yet, so let's take a look at the 5 things Arkham Knight did wrong. The first one is the Batmobile. It made it on the list for things Arkham Knight did right, so why is it here? Well, the Batmobile in concept and in its inclusion is great. It's a key cornerstone of the Batman mythos. It is a part of the character. It really always has been. However, that doesn't mean that it was used well. The Batmobile in Arkham Knight could have been a fantastic way to traverse Gotham City, to get around, to actually go to missions, even if it was incorporated in combat a little bit, the way that it is in interactive combat encounters. So like when you are attacking an enemy and then you use the environmental takedown and it causes the Batmobile to shoot the guy with a rubber bullet in the air and knock him down, that's great. That could be a great way to include the Batmobile. You know, it's not a great way to include the Batmobile, the way it's included. The fact that there are so many unmanned drone battles shoved into the game where you have to take control of the Batmobile and fight these drones off over and over and over, and Cobra tanks, it's insane.
It gets very repetitive with this. It just get annoying. Like, this, like, mission always be my least favorite out of all of them. Like, I don't mind the chase down, but this one would be my least. Like, every time if I want to do the militia mission, I always leave mines on the world at last for me to do because I just don't have time. This one is boring and that. But like he said, there's good things about it. Like they got other Batmobiles. Like, you don't have to transform and take. That's good. If you do mods in that, they did a great job with the Batmobiles. Like, they done like the Telltale series, the Batmobiles, but they transform it in a tank. I don't know how they done it, but that's a genius way to they done. But the issue with it is, like he said, the tanks, and it's getting repetitive with it. But like at the end, like he said, that, like, I agree. There's half, like, it's in the middle for the Batmobile. It's good and bad. Let's just see what he had to say about Batmobile now.
The fact that a lot of the boss battles in this game actually also revolve around the Batmobile, and it's really weird. Now, it's not just a few of them either, from Deathstroke to the Arkham Knight himself to even Firefly, having to chase Firefly down with the Batmobile and then really just having a QTE to attack him. It's pretty bad, especially coming off of Origins, which even the people who hate Origins can recognize that it has good boss fights. It has some of the more solid.
I agree. Arkham Origin got the best boss fight out of all the Arkham series. Like, if I had to, well, Mr. Freeze from Arkham City is number one. But if I had to pick which Arkham game got the most best boss battles, I don't want to say City, because City is like second for me, because there's a lot of good boss fights, but Arkham Origin got so much good boss fight. They don't have to do boss fights. Arkham Knight is my least favorite out of the boss fights. Arkham Asylum is mid because it's boring, but yeah. But like he said about tank, the Batmobile use, like there's so much thing you can do with it, but they kind of just watered down with too much tanks. They should just done something different.
Solid boss fights in the series, other than things like the Mr. Freeze boss fight in Arkham City.
Yeah.
It was really, really well done in those terms. So to come off the heels of that into Arkham Knight with the terrible boss fights that are mostly themed around the Batmobile and the Batmobile's overall just shoved into everyone's face, mechanics, it was not a pretty sight. And that ties a lot too into later complaints, including the season pass, because the Batmobile comes back. You will not be able to forget it even after you finish the story. The second thing that I think Arkham Knight did wrong or poorly was the lazy writing. And this is not every aspect of the story. I actually like Arkham Knight's story, but it's lazy in a lot of different ways. Now, there's different ways that I can pick this apart, and I feel bad doing it, because I don't like people nitpicking stories, but I think these are obvious ones. The first one is the unmanned tanks. Now, granted, drones are a technology in the real world that is prevalent, but
yeah, sorry. I don't have ad revenues, so...
Arkham Knight, as you later find out in the story, and do I have to give a spoiler warning, but spoiler warning, is someone who knows Batman's modus operandi. He knows how Batman operates, he knows his weaknesses and his strengths. He knows Batman's no-kill rule. So, for him to go along with a plan that essentially operates only under the assumption of, oh, we'll beat Batman with unarmed tanks, even though Batman refuses to kill anyone ever. It doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you just send tanks after Batman that have people in them? Do you have any idea how much harder this game would have been if the tanks had people in them and Batman couldn't just blow them away with the cannons on the Batmobile? I mean, I don't know how the game developers would have tackled that in terms of gameplay mechanics, but when you think about it that way from a story perspective, it's a bad decision. It makes no sense, especially because Arkham Knight is Jason. He was a previous...
Big surprise! That, like for me as a kid, like, this was the first Batman Arkham series game I ever played. It was like the first, like, scary game I ever played as a kid. But for this one, it just, like, I got the Batman Arkham Knight Special Edition on the PS4 version theme with the controller and the console. The console looked awesome, but the game itself was underwhelming. Like, for example, my own dad, we were trying to find Arkham City version because he knows that game is way better than all the Batman games. But he couldn't find it, so this one was the only one. But the problem I got with this is just, it was underwhelming. They showed so much Jason flashback. Like, they should do Prometheus or Officer Bowles, like, why he hate Batman, and probably like Joker too. You think Jason Katcha is Officer Bowles, like from Arkham Asylum. That would make perfect sense. Because I think that would be a good way to do it. But they tied it in with the Red Hood storyline, and I think that was a bad decision. Like, probably maybe do that in the near future, but why not Batman find him in this? But I don't know. There's so much you can do with it, but
It's Robin who knows all these things about Batman, and yet he's like, let's send in some unarmed tanks. Batman won't have a problem, dying to these. It's not like he'll just go all out on these things knowing nobody is in them, because the only thing ever holding Batman back is not wanting to kill people. Yep, that one makes sense. There's also the evacuation of the city. The thing is, with every evacuation of Gotham or Arkham or wherever, it makes sense in the context of the story. Now, it makes sense here why the city is evacuated with the threat of fear toxin. It does not make sense to the extent of which it is evacuated. In any city, if you had a mass panic where everyone was fleeing the city, you would not get every person out of it. There's only a few people left here other than the police officers, and that doesn't make any sense. The city would still be a little more populated, even if it was just the homeless population. They would not all be gone. And we know that you can make superhero games where you don't just abandon the city every single time. PS4's Spider-Man did it. And it's a different beast, and it's a different character, but it is not undoable. And I think it's something that a lot of players were getting tired of by this point in the franchise. In Asylum, it wasn't a problem, because you were on Arkham Asylum, on Arkham Island in the Asylum. But once you got to City, And it made sense in City. People were like, okay, I guess we're just going to stay in this confined area. Then you move to Origins. It still made sense with the snowstorm and everything, but it was a little pushing the bounds of believability. And then we hit this, and it's like, come on, seriously, guys, we're going to go there again? People were tired of this. On top of that, there is the predictability of the title villain. This also is under lazy writing. Everybody knew who this villain was coming from a mile away. And yet...
Because it got leaked. Like, I didn't know. I was too small to know about these. But when I got older, I'm like, it was a leak. That's how they know who Jason was. Because there was a leak. They're like, it's Jason. But as soon as they show more flashback, you're like, oh, it's Jason. And then they found out, yep, this was a bummer.
Back when they were marketing this game, they still saw fit to actually say that it wasn't Jason Todd, which we'll get into later. But it was really obvious this was Jason Todd, who barely shows up in any game other than some throwaway lines.
I don't know. Well, yeah, you can say Jason, but there could be other ones like Prometheus or Officer Bowles from Arkham, like from Batman Arkham Asylum. That would make sense for him to come in this game, since he won't revenge on Batman since he didn't save him after the torture he did with Joker torture him.
Jason Todd. There was no build up to this character until this game, really. Again, some throwaway lines from the Joker and some other characters in challenge maps, nothing that mattered. Then they crammed the entire death in the family storyline into Arkham Knight, which is a little...
Like, the family story in this would not make any sense in this. Like, it should not be in the first place.
A little bit lazy writing in and of itself for a finale. And they show it coming from a mile away. Why would Batman be having all of these flashbacks to Jason Todd?
Because they just realized, oh, it's Jason Todd. Because they keep showing, because Joker's like, let me tell you 1,000 times, you should know this. Arkham Knight is Jason, because I keep showing you more flashbacks. But but it doesn't work like that. That's the issue. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. That's like an issue. Like, if you go show Jason flashback, they could be like, Joker can tell you, oh, where he is, and then turn out, like, for example, like, if I want to do it, I would be like, oh, Jason, Arkham Knight is Officer Bowles, and he got Jason dressed like Batman, but he found him and he tortured him so he could think that's Batman, and Joker could show him where he was, and then Batman could do a crime scene and follow him and find him, and then him, like Jason and Batman, could follow up together to like defeat the Arkham Knight, and then after that, Robin, like Jason Todd, become the new Red Hood, but not kill, like probably like rubber bullets and that, but like that could be like something they could do, but I feel like for this it was a letdown. There's so much you can do because City is so big in that.
If it didn't tie into the Arkham Knight, because throughout the entire story it's, oh, I'm sorry, Batman, I couldn't figure out who the Arkham Knight was from different people like Oracle and Alfred, and yet, who do we keep seeing over and over again? Jason Todd, one of my favorite characters in the Batman mythos, so hey, I'm not complaining to have him here. Not a great way to include him if you're just going to make it very visible from 10 miles away. The third thing that I think that they did poorly was the marketing. The marketing of this game, it doesn't get brought up quite as much as it does for Origins, but it's pretty bad in terms of just being sort of dishonest and coy with it. I think you can do that well enough with a game or movie, and you can keep the audience on their toes without lying to them. But I personally think that the way they phrased things in the marketing of this game was pretty much lying, if not just being untruthful, which...
Like, the most disappointing thing, like, I do know this. I am gonna do an Arkham, like, cut content video I might do in the future. But Prometheus is supposed to be in this game. They found the file, and they're like, oh, no, we're not gonna do that. Like, it's just... so much you can do with that character. I feel like that throwaway, like it doesn't build up, but they can try to build up the story, like do flashback, and then you become like a young Batman from Arkham Asylum. You play as him and you go through the story in that. That would be awesome. But the issue was, I don't think they didn't have any idea. So my guess is, if I had to pick one of the side mission, I think they replace it with, I think it was Killer Croc. I don't think it was the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter was a setup because of, we see the book of the same book from Arkham Knight to Batman Arkham VR, not Arkham Shadow. The Arkham VR after Arkham City, and that's supposed to be a prequel to Arkham Knight. But yeah, it's like Heroes makes sense. Ra's al Ghul makes sense because he body disappeared. Mr. Freeze, if that were the case for Mr. Freeze, I feel like that would be the biggest failure. Like, we got some mission sucks except for Prometheus and Ra's al Ghul. But if they just get rid of Killer Croc, I feel like it's on mission. I feel like Mad Hatter might suck out of all of them, but Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, Mr. Freeze, and Prometheus side mission, it'd be very good. But I heard it's supposed to be like the 5th. But for me, if I was like the marketing, I would just add like nearly how many side missions there was. Okay, why not we add all of them, like the same ones, but with different stories and that, and we bring them back, and we get more flashbacks with them. So, and then after that, we can try to do a prequel of Arkham Asylum, and will lead up to Arkham Asylum, and that will work out. But there's so much they can do with it. But yeah,
depending who you're asking, is a lie. Now, there's different things that I can refer to when talking about this, but I think the easiest one to talk about is in March 2014, the Rocksteady producer Dax Jin, and that's how I think you pronounce his name, but he said, "There are only 2 things I can say about the character you just saw," and this was in a press interview. Number 1, his name is the Arkham Knight. Number 2, he is a completely original character that we have designed at Rocksteady in collaboration with DC Comics. That's it. Now, on the surface level, you would think, oh, what they mean is Arkham Knight is a new character. We don't know who this is. This is not Red Hood or Jason Todd or anyone we've seen. Who is it under the helmet? It's Jason Todd. Now, was this very likely done to misdirect and just to preserve a state of suspense in the game so they didn't just say, hey, look, it's Jason? Sure. But I don't think that was actually necessary. And this really bums me out because Arkham Knight's character design, and some of you have pointed it out before, it's fantastic. The way...
Yes, it's like the best, like, original Arkham design out of all of them, but they mess up somehow, and I just don't know how they did with this. There's so much you can do, like probably a new character or like flashbacks in that, but they could. There's so much they can do, like I said, but we'll continue.
The way he looks is incredible, and he really does come off as an anti-Batman. And I know that I said before that this series doesn't have a lot of those characters really. I think he is kind of filling that role. I still think you could bring in somebody else like Prometheus, yeah. But Arkham Knight is sort of an anti-Batman character. He even has...
We'll get Prometheus. He's an anti-Batman. They probably just didn't even think of that.
On his helmet, what mirrors the bat cowl ears, even though they're not supposed to be that, but essentially, he is sort of a dark reflection of Batman from Batman's past. And it bums me out that they had to go this route of falsifying the narrative in order to introduce him. I think it would have been better off to just basically say Jason Todd would have been in the game. I know that there wouldn't be this same sense of mystique around the character, but if you think about something like Under the Red Hood, the movie, there wasn't really in that either. That was an adaptation of a book, of a graphic novel storyline, and people knew who the Red Hood was by the time the movie came out. Guess what? People still love that movie, and a lot of people think that movie did that storyline better than the book. And that sense of drama was still there. Except instead of the drama of, oh man, who is this Red Hood guy that was in the original book, that was replaced with the drama of, well, how is Batman in this adaptation going to react when he finds out that his adopted son, essentially, his surrogate son, Jason Todd, who he saw murdered in front of him, is back. And he wants vengeance on Batman. He blames Batman. How is Bruce going to react to this? That was how you could have done that in this story. There was nothing wrong with building the game up that way. But this idea that you need to pretend that something isn't in the game just to build suspense, it's not one that resonates with players really ever, and it left a lot of people feeling alienated and annoyed at the game's narrative. And that narrative also comes back to the Joker. I'm going to be completely honest with you, this might be my favorite way the Joker has been included in the series.
Yes, I agreed. It's like the dark metal or the dark. I think it's the dark metal. I think it is for the Batman comic book. Like, this is like the dark metal comic. I like the idea. I think they were trying to like mix that in with this game. I think that was a good idea. Like, we see how brutal he can be. Like, Joker is like the most powerful villain, but we don't see it. But we can see it if Batman mix it in with that. But if he mixed with other villains, I feel like Joker would be more better and more militative and like more inspiration and all that, like mind control or like try to trick him. Like, this is scary if Joker took over him, and that's what I like.
Joker in this game is turned into a psychological threat. He is not a physical threat in many ways to Bruce. No matter whether Joker wins or not, Bruce's body would still be alive. However, he is a psychological threat, slowly creeping around in the background of Bruce Wayne's mind, taking over the Batman persona, and essentially, if he is able to take control of Batman's body, he would be a physical threat to everyone in Gotham, everyone in the world, and everyone in the Bat family, yes. But he's not to Bruce. To Bruce, he's a psychological threat that he cannot dig out of his head. He's always there, he's always watching, he's always laughing. And honestly, I love that. This is not the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, or Arkham Origins Joker that, as fantastic as they are, with one clean hit to the head can be knocked out and silenced. Batman can't silence this Joker.
Yep. That
is a really interesting and cool way to include that character. But what does the game open with? Burning the Joker's body. How do they end Arkham City? The Joker is dead. They really push this narrative that Joker's gone, that his storyline is essentially Asylum City, and then Origins is how they meet. And that was already pushing it with Origins fans. But now, oh, he's back, and you better like it. And frankly, as much as I love how he's included, that does not mean that this was a good way to go about it. It was misleading, and probably not in a good way.
With Superloop's Lightspeed plan, you get 1 gigabit.
No, I don't need your house, so leave me alone, please.
And frankly, people were pretty tired of him. I don't know if they would have been if Origins had not been a thing, but by this point, the overwhelming, I don't know if I want to say majority, but I would say it's pretty split on people just being tired of the character being in Arkham. And that was already prevalent here. People wanted Scarecrow to show up and take center stage, and because he didn't, not only did Scarecrow feel like his threat was a little bit backburnered and disingenuous, but so did Jason's, and it all builds up again to Joker in a lot of ways. And Joker is the reason that the other two are such big threats in the first place, since Batman almost takes down Scarecrow twice in the game, once at Ace Chemicals and once on the Stag airship, and only isn't able to because of Joker hallucinations. And honestly, that made those villain encounters look kind of bad, because it just comes down to the fact that if Batman weren't still struggling with Joker, the game would have been over. Hours and hours and hours before the ending of the game would have been over. And that's not good.
Yeah.
The fourth thing that I want to mention, and we are getting to the end here, is the terrible, horrendous season pass. Now, it's a mixed bag for me. There's things I love in the season pass. I love and adore Matter of Family.
Yes.
I've always had a soft spot for Batgirl.
And a very interesting story about the guy who did this, Joker tricks him with and Dr. Penelope Young, I think that's how I pronounce her name. Sorry if I don't know if I got it wrong. But yeah, like, that was a good storyline if you like complete the secret challenge with everything and the tape recording.
Barbara Gordon's character is done very well. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing a game about her.
Yeah.
It'll never happen, but I would not mind seeing a even shorter Arkham-style game about her. And I thought that Matter of Family kind of filled that niche for me and allowed me to play as one of my favorite Bat characters, and I loved it. However, pretty much every other story DLC was either trash or okay.
Nightwing DLC sucks. Robin sucks. Catwoman sucks. Red Hood was okay. Harley Quinn was good, but that's it.
They're all extremely short, and even the really fun ones, they just die off real quick. So, I actually really enjoyed the Red Hood DLC. It's super, super short, but that's the problem with it, is there's no substance to it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they use these DLCs to do some weird character things that I didn't agree with. Like, after the salt in the wound of Black Mask in Origins not really even being the central villain, they just unceremoniously murder him in the post-game DLC with Red Hood.
But there's theories of, that was just another crook who's setting up him. Because if that's the case, that's a good theory. Because that would make sense. He'd be like, oh, he's killing my men. I want him dead, but he's got to come on for me so you can take over my role. And they won't know I am back or not. Because that's what he did with the last one. But he planned backfire. But I think if that's the case here, he planned work. Because Red Hood didn't know the difference.
Despite there really being not much connection between Sionis and Todd's characters established in the game's storylines. So that stuff really hurt that season pass, along with the fact that a ton of season pass releases
Batmobile tracks suck.
Just came down to different skins for the Batmobile, which were fairly
Maybe not, well, all of them. Except for the Tim Burton one. I kind of have fun with it.
fairly useless in the main game because they don't have battle mode anyway, and
Fight me. If you dare. It's my opinion. And I can't always agree with you sometimes. Sometimes you can't. Alright?
as you remember, the battle mode is necessary for a big chunk of the story and different parts of the post-game content with things like taking out Cobra tanks or other tanks. Tanks come back a lot. So those were pretty useless Batmobiles, really only there for the inclusion in the racetracks, and the racetracks are not that fun.
No.
It's a neat side thing and a neat idea. I could have gone for a few of them, but there is way too many of them in that season pass. Yeah. And on top of that, the Season of Infamy was really built up to be the thing that fixed the season pass.
Yeah.
And there are some great things about it, from the Mr. Freeze segment, which I thought was really fun, and then somehow culminated in a tank battle, which pissed me off, to lesser known inclusions like Deacon Blackfire. There are some deep cuts there that are really cool, but some of them are also very underutilized. Like Mad Hatter was a joke. Yeah. Mad Hatter was only cool because of the encounter of being sucked into the book, and nothing else. You really just go around, find some police in the trunks of police cars. That's it. There's no challenge to it, nothing. So that season pass was pretty disappointing. The Season of Infamy really being the only thing that helped it at the end. And even that wasn't that great. It was fun, and I'm glad it's there, and it does help the game, especially for first-time players. But it doesn't leave a lot of incentive to go back to it and replay it multiple times. Especially since in this game, and this is just a little aside, once you complete the game 120% both times, So you get 100% in the game, then you do the Season of Infamy, 100% in the game, Season of Infamy. You get a gold emblemed batsuit, which I think is really cool, that you can then never use in the story mode unless you're on PC. Because you have to...
I got that too. I do mods. If you think I cheat, I don't care. Fight me, fuckers. Don't care. And I don't use it that much now either. I used to do it a lot back then. I wasn't that good at it, but fight me. But I don't do it that much anymore. Like, I got the new mod where it gives you it make Arkham City very, very hard. But is it simple for me? No. How many times I died? Probably like 30 times. If it's 20 times, that's good. But I bet there'd be someone out there who probably use cheat. For me, I want to do that, but it doesn't work. So it's like that or the other. But the one thing I got with it is, for me, it's like, question. You should like for let me give you an example. Like, they should add that goal like this right there. If they add that in when you got 120% completed, like that. Because if you get what? No, like I think it was 125% completed since the DLC added. If you get that done, you can get the gold emblem. You can get that. Then just playing the new game plus that you can't use it. It's kind of suck. But,
in the game Season of Infamy, you get a gold emblemed batsuit, which I think is really cool, that you can then never use in the story mode unless you're on PC. Because you have to use a mesh mod in order to use it on PC, and you...
No, they just add a mod, like an extra DLC mod. You just add in a photo, boom, like that.
You can't do that on console, as you all know. So it's really just for challenge maps. Again, there's building up to nothing. That's a big problem with Night in general. The final con with this game, the final cardinal sin that really hurt this game, and it hurt it at launch, was something that didn't affect a lot of people, but I want you to keep in mind that it also did affect tons of players. And that was the horrible PC launch of this game.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's why I forgot. I know half of them, like the list you go through, because I watch it, but I forgot about the PC launch. That's right. Everyone was having issues. They keep getting kicked, or they play on launch, it doesn't work, or every time they play, they get kicked, or it doesn't load up, it doesn't work every time. Like, this was a very, very big thing for PC. I heard about it, like, not because of this video. I think I saw a short, like a YouTube short of it, about the issue with Arkham Knight. It was that part there, but yeah, this one was a very, very, very big disappointment for the PC community.
It was terribly unoptimized. It didn't work with so many different types of graphics cards. It was unplayable at launch for a ton of the PC community.
Yes.
And then, you know what else? There were actually players that were able to play this on PC from day one with no issues. But it was like rolling the lottery. It was like...
Yeah. Spin the wheel! Ugh. Can I get my money back? No. Oh. That's how it is. It's like spin the wheel if you're lucky or not.
Oh man. Do I happen to have the one thing that they optimized this game for out of 500 things? Looks like I do. I can play it, while 499 other people are sitting there like, wow, I just blew $60 on this. I can't believe this. This is a respected games company. How could this launch this way? This is pathetic. And even if you're not a PC player, you can't do that anymore. You cannot just pick a system or a platform and say, you know,
you should put this in. Boom, problem solved. But for PC, there's a lot. There's a lot. Like, I use gigabytes. A gaming laptop. That's where I'm recording this on. But I got extra monitors so I can see better. But like you said, yeah, just... yeah, graphic card issue, or which version? Are you playing on a regular computer or a regular laptop? If you're doing that, good chance it will work or not. But if you're playing on a big, giant gaming computer, they'll be like, it will work. But sometimes, like, it'd be like, oh, gigabyte cut, like, storage not working because they don't realize how much it is. Because sometimes they don't read the description, like I do. And another thing too is, oh, about $60. Well, in Australia it'd be like maybe like 70. No, it'd be like 60 back then. But they'd be like, oh, I can't believe it. About $60, but I need to pay $200 or like $500 on this card to order this to work. And once they do that, it'd be like, wow, I just broke so much money order this to work. I got a better card already, but I had to upgrade it again. So what's the point of me doing that?
You know what? I don't care about it. It's going to have a terrible launch, but we're going to sell it there anyway. Yeah. For several reasons. It comes across super greedy, because you could have just not released it there, but you clearly did for money. It comes across lazy, because you did not take the time to optimize and rid the game of bugs. It also comes across as cheap, because you could have paid for QA testing or at least released a beta for some people sitting around who want a free thing to play to actually bug test and figure it out. There's so many ways this could have been fixed and avoided, and it is absolutely horrendously unacceptable that it wasn't. And this is coming from someone who played the game through 240% on PS4. I still think that was a terrible, terrible way to actually treat a community that was excited to play your game. And it really rubbed people the wrong way. And a lot of people on the PC community have not come back to the game, even though it's been mostly fixed. Like, most people can play it now well on a PC, especially with some tinkering. But this turned people off to the game, and for better or worse, that was really because of that launch.
Yeah.
So, this was a really long one. I guess I'm a little sweaty now. I was talking so much and getting so heated. So let me know what you think in the comments down below about this. What is your opinion overall about Arkham Knight? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? And what are the things you like and dislike? And, you know, I appreciate all the support you've been giving me recently. Again, I know I say it in a lot of videos, but I really do mean it. This channel is growing incredibly quickly. And it's not like it's just thanks to me putting out content. It is thanks to you actually watching the content and, you know, showing respect to each other and building a community in the comments section. You know, and most of those interactions are peaceful, and I appreciate that. You know, I think that at the end of the day, this stuff is all worth talking about, and it is really fun, but as people, you know, we all treat each other with respect. We talk about the video games, and we move on. So, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic day. By the way, little aside, check me out on Twitter at twitter.com/degeneratej. Links in the description as always. I'll see you next time.
Alright. Thank you for that. If I had to do like, excuse me, sorry, I'm just not that well. If I had to do my 5 things I think it did wrong: boss fight, story, Batmobile, DLC, I agreed. I don't know what the 5th one would be though. Not it can't be characters. I said story, bosses, story, boss, DLCs. Well, I said I said bosses, story, Batmobile, DLC. Yep, that's a DLC. That's hard to think of what the 5th one will be. Like, Arkham Knight is good, but there's some things where there's a lot of problem. But but I can't think of what's another one I can think of a problem. I probably might just throw it out there. I just can't even think of it. I would probably say maybe like I will say probably like the characters, like wow, the characters to the villain are kind of just wow, just there's so much you can do, but I don't know. But hey, I hope you guys like this video. I gotta leave his name in the title so you can click on that blue title button so you can check out his channel. And without further ado, I'm Christian Bats here. Have a good day. See ya.